Are there any more questions?
What is your next thing you have thought about that should be your positive stuff you will post?
Mm-hmm.
Will it be in the Zen-Dragon or Medgang, or will it be something?
Yeah.
Something different, or?
I think for now it will be either something Zen-Dragon or Medgang related. Probably Medgang related. So you could argue that it's doing something positive if I'm sharing something and it's entertaining people. And for the most part, that's all I do with Zen-Dragon. I have a few videos which have more of a message, and I have, like, you can order the tank top and some money will get donated, but it's not making a huge dent. So for the most part, Zen-Dragon is just me sharing my passion, and it makes a positive impact, but not as much as some of the stuff I've done with Medgang. And I've been talking with my girlfriend Anna about doing another, perhaps a free training. Medgang, we have yet to plan it, and it's important for us not to be stressed out or anything, because we were at a point doing free yoga and martial arts classes in this very room every Sunday, and I was also doing video editing and everything, and even though it created value for the people who showed up, it was just, if it's training us, then it doesn't feel right calling it Medgang. And not that it felt like that constantly, but there were times, and that's why we slowed down the pace a bit. But we want to set up probably another free training experience, but we also considered a lot of other ideas. Like also we talked about giving speaking opportunities, for instance, because it's a special experience being able to share your perspective, and I'm also happy to have this opportunity, and I'd love to give it to someone else as well who's interested in it. So there's a lot of ideas with Medgang, and there's still, we can always design more merchandise if we like with the mug, and we can choose to donate it to some kind of thing. But yeah, we also wanted to, because when we started out doing mostly yoga sessions here, this guy Kasper, he wanted to offer us money because he felt we were providing him with value, and we didn't want to take them because that wasn't the purpose. But he wanted to give, and then we found out that, okay, if you donate some money, we can spend it for a purpose. And the idea was to put together a dinner experience for a homeless person. This is especially one guy I know, but it never transpired. And it can be difficult finding the time in your busy everyday life. And sometimes it's nice doing something through technology, like this mug, for instance, or anything. If you go to Teespring, if you have something you want to bring awareness towards, then you can create a product, and the product will exist eternally. So even if you get too busy to try and do something for this important cause, which you feel is part of your identity and something you should fight for, then through technology you can have that work just everlasting, or who knows how long this internet thing will keep existing. So, are there any more questions? Yeah, Jason.
The thing is, every time you face, restraint on your YouTube channels, hate, and everything negativity, what keeps you going on and shoving it aside?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just recently had this video I was sharing with Nicholas. I had it covered, I don't know if you saw it, on this website, which is just, there's a lot of trolls there. There's also a lot of serious people, and people love to share, especially sometimes criticism, fight commentary breakdowns. If you want to look it up, you can check it out for yourself. And I think in dealing with haters, it's also important to realize that not every negative comment is necessarily from that point of view. But there's a lot of, especially on YouTube and online, there's a lot of unconstructive criticism. I think it's just important to keep in mind that for me it's kind of nice actually sometimes having these haters who, for the most part on my channel, it's mostly positive because that's why people choose to subscribe. I have a few who I think actually, at least one or two, who probably subscribe just to hit thumbs up and stuff like that. That's part of the online experience as a creator. But I think actually sometimes it's nice because when people praise me, I know they're not, if it's like high praise, I know there's a lot of better martial artists than me. I have my skills and stuff, but I know I'm not perfect. And some people give high praise, and some people just give ridiculous criticism. And the truth lies somewhere in between. But I think it's just a good way of making sure you're not being influenced too much by people's opinions. Because I know in theory, I would always say to anyone who asks me about like how they're perceived by others, I would always say the most important opinion anyone can have of you is your own. And I'm good with what I do, so that should be fine. But still, with as a creator, you're dependent on comments, and you're depending on having people like the stuff and click subscribe if you want to have these opportunities which can come along. So it's easy to get sucked into that. So you wanna get popular, but not for the wrong reasons. And definitely sometimes I also get sucked into that kind of like, I think we all have a need for validation, but I think the key is to provide it for yourself. And so in this way, it's great to have haters, at least I think sometimes, because then if they're saying something about me and it isn't something I think seems fair and reasonable, which I could learn from, then if I'm affected by it, it just tells me I'm getting too much influence by people's opinions. And yeah, so I try not to develop an ego from praise, and I try not to feel like I'm terrible if just because someone writes so in a comment. That's pretty much how I deal with it. Like more in practical terms, if someone's actually a creator or considering it, I think what works great, I think, is responding to the negativity and doing it in the most positive, constructive manner. So when someone writes something, doesn't happen that often, but in this case on fight commentary breakdowns, there's been some trolls and some negativity. If someone writes something really harsh and negative, which doesn't seem fair, then I think of it as like a billboard. So here's my opportunity to show how much more classy and friendly and well thought out I am compared to this response. And whoever sees this is gonna be likely to really want to check out who this guy is and my channel and stuff, because they see me keep it positive in a situation where most people perhaps wouldn't. That's how I deal with haters. I want to say there's been some nice questions already. I think so the last time I did a talk like this, the best part was the Q&A session, and where it's spontaneous, and I think also because there can be a back and forth learning kind of dynamic in this. So if there's more questions, I'd love to answer them. But I'm just I'm grateful for the questions already asked and having this chance to share some of my experiences. Any more questions?
Are you able to delete
Yeah.
questions if they are too awful? Or?
Yeah, I am. I just saw a video with one of the OG old school martial arts creators on YouTube, Kicker. I don't know. Perhaps there's some fellow martial arts geeks in the audience who know who this guy is. And who was talking about that? He came from a slightly different perspective of seeing his YouTube channel as his house on YouTube. And even though there's free speech, his perspective was if someone's just being an asshole and not really offering anything helpful or constructive, then he'll delete the comment. And I can see that because it's not really bringing any value. So it also something, if something is way out of the line, especially if it's like a reference to someone other than me, because I've thought about how I respond to this kind of negativity, but I don't know, if someone criticizes another person in a video, I might feel inclined to delete it. And even just watching Quan Kicker share his perspective, it also influenced me a bit, because he's one of my role models. I have like a handful, 4 to 5 creators, which really inspired me to make a martial arts channel. And I think you should definitely accept some criticism. Like, you should do it just for the sake of learning, but also if you're thinking in marketing terms and everything's just positive, then it seems less genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are always gonna see things from different perspectives. I might consider sometimes deleting comments now. I've already done it once where it was negativity directed towards someone else and I didn't feel like having it. But for the most part, I'd much rather respond. And if it's someone who keeps repeating the same stuff and I've already responded, then again I have probably 16 comments or something which I could be responding to instead. So there's a line to be drawn. Yeah. And the question?
Do you plan to do more live videos? I know you have made at least 2.
Yeah.
Because I filmed them, but are you going to do more, and why not?
Yeah, I would like to do more live videos, and it's an interesting question because for various reasons. I feel like one of the most interesting videos on my channel, I think it's one called Live Self-Defense Experiment. And that was something which suited the live format really well, because when you're doing live streams, it's important to interact with the audience. But a lot of times the video will be more interesting to watch live than later on. And that's because if people ask questions, then you need to respond and you kind of lose track. But in this case, the idea was for me to be attacked, surprise attacked in the video. So it was just perfect with the live format because people were asking questions and I was being distracted just talking to the phone. Any kind of live video will be recorded from either your phone or from a computer, at least at this point, through the webcam. So you can't do it from a regular camera. And I was doing it, then suddenly this guy who was also in the video, he attacked me while I was talking, and it made for a really interesting video. Also fun to see how I reacted, and of course he wasn't trying to kill me, and luckily I didn't have some kind of instinct to just get freaked out and kill him. Otherwise he wouldn't be here. So but check out the video if you're curious. Live Self-Defense Experiment. I think it's one of my really interesting ones, and it hasn't performed very well. I'm not sure why, but live videos don't tend to perform that well on the current algorithm on YouTube. But again, I'm not a puppet to the algorithm, so when I have the right idea, I'll definitely be up for doing live. And also in terms of work-life balance, I think I plan on scaling back a bit and finding ways to work smart with YouTube, so I spend a little less time on it. Either that or quit my full-time job, we'll see. But if it's the first approach, then I'll probably do more live videos, because you don't have to edit them and everything. It's just important to be mindful of what kind of content you want to share for a live format. I was actually considering live streaming this talk, but then first of all, I'm like, I don't know, if something weird was to happen and it was something which someone in the audience didn't like having live streamed, then that was kind of a no-no for me. But also when you do live streams, if you're not very experienced with them, it can be kind of random, where you're not sure if it's recording or not. And I didn't want to just have... I'll be doing a video on this talk actually, where I edit it, but I wouldn't like to do a live stream where suddenly everything is on top, like upside down, like I've done before, and suddenly it loses connection.